Hey everybody. Sorry for the lack of, well, content in general the last couple weeks and over the last couple months too. Life really kind of starts to pile on, if you know what I mean. And I'm not here to play Oppression Olympics or anything like that. And, if people are really interested or kind of want to know what's going on a little bit more behind the scenes, you can either check out our Patreon or you could, or heck, I might even do like a little short or something to just kind of do a quick little rundown of stuff going on behind the scenes. So, apologies for that. I will do my best to try to give you more reptile update. It just kind of sometimes seems a little bit disingenuous to just show, like, here's a ball python, look how pretty that is, when I have a lot of other really good content that I could be making for you guys, just haven't had a whole lot of real time and energy to be able to do so. But with that being said, let's get into the actual crux of the video. So, this time of the year is when a lot of breeders start to introduce their animals together. A lot of people keep a lot of boids, a lot of tropical and subtropical reptiles, so pythons, boas, those types of animals that are winter into spring breeders. And so this time of year, when the barometric pressure is dropping, we're getting night drops a lot, that's when a lot of people choose to put their animals together, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Technically, I do kind of breed a little bit year-round, and I've already introduced some of the pairs that I'm going to talk about in today's video, but we've now finally gotten to the point in the year where I'm getting real good night drops to where the outside temps where I'm at in this high alpine desert are getting into the single digits and below zero, as well as we're actually getting a little bit of snow. So, good time to put these guys together. So, to roll into these different projects we're doing, if you are involved in the reptile hobby or industry, whatever term you want to throw at it, you have probably heard a certain term a lot over the last couple months, and probably a lot in the last few years. And that word is, of course, oversaturation. You hear it all the time about oversaturation of reptile expos, oversaturation of snakes, and obviously, of course, oversaturation of ball pythons. Now, I've talked about this before. They've been saying that for like 20 years now about ball pythons. But right now, the way that the world works, the industry works, I've talked about it. I'm sure a lot of the other reptile people have talked about it as well. It's just not a very good time to be breeding reptiles. This is a buyer's market right now. So for people wanting to get into the hobby that thinks it's cool, this is the time where you're able to get quite a few very high dollar animals. And 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, when assuming that the country hasn't exploded, that you will be in a very good position to have some good quality, very high dollar animals available to you once the market kind of comes back around. It's a circle, it's a roller coaster. So just for ball python projects, I am way slimming down. I still have quite a few ball pythons available right now, considering I do a lot of pet stuff. Normally those are moving a little bit better than those super high dollar valuable animals, but just not really right now. So while I don't really have an issue with that, I'm the only one taking care of the animals right now by myself, and that just is a lot, as well as the food bill gets very high. So this year, I'm really only going to be concentrating on select ball python projects. Only ones that I'm really interested in, like the highways and the freeways, as well as, I always like to produce bells, trying to refine the Calico project, as well as a couple of secret things that I'm working on. So instead of doing, 15 to 20 ball python pairings that I really could do if I so chose, I'm only going to be doing a select, maybe 7 to 8 or 9 ball python pairings. And because I'm old school, I don't have a sonogram, I'm sitting here doing the follicle counts, they don't always hit 100% of the time. But that's what we're doing. We've already even had some locks on those. So, because I'm not doing nearly as many ball pythons, a good majority of what I'm doing is actually concentrating on the other snakes. So for everybody who was waiting for me to get to it, here we go. So first things first is we will start with the boas that we're doing. We're actually doing quite a few boeing pairings, but not as many as I could. We're obviously going to be doing the true red tails, our Suriname pair. They are locked away in their 6-foot enclosure, and with Severus, she's the big one, not the big one, Cupcake, but Severus, she's another big true red tail boa, the BCC. She's in a 6-foot Viv, and Yamato, our really nice high widow peak boy. They are locked up together. They've been cuddling buddies basically for the last 2 months or so, and I've really started to see a little bit more increased activity with Yamato, and right now they're all buddied up, so sorry I don't have video for them, but let's get into the other fun morphs too. So we are doing another call project again. Upsilon, this will be her second time going. The first time was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago was her very first litter. So we're going to put Church back in with her. We had another possible super ghost who we acquired in a collection, but he has just been ignored the entire time, as well as he hasn't really been doing a whole lot of kind of investigating, kind of really trying to get at Upsilon. So we might introduce him a little bit just to see once, a little bit more of that mating behavior is spurred on by Church, because we need to prove whether or not he is in fact a super. But because he's just kind of sitting around, we may or may not actually use that. So we're going to be doing another ghost het call to call. So sunglows, albinos, hypos, all 100% het anery for snow and moonglow, yada yada yada. Then moving on to some of the other fun stuff. This year we are doing some VPI projects. So we have Kilo, who is our VPI, so T positive VPI, and then possible jungle. You can tell by all of her aberrations she may or may not be a jungle. She comes from a really nice high quality jungle line, so it's probably just some stuff thrown her way. She's probably not a true jungle, at least I don't really see it. And then obviously we'll be pairing that with a male that will correlate with that. We have a Hypo Aztec 100% het VPI, so hopefully we will get some visual high techs. So we have VPI high tech. So the visual Hypo Aztec with the het to the visual, the Hypo Melanistic, which is the incomplete dominant, and then the Aztec, which is a dominant trait. So hopefully we'll be able to get those, which will be a really, really cool thing. Kilo we've had around for a while, very slow grown. She's 7 years old, and this will be her first time breeding. And then we're doing another line of T-positive boas, and this is one that I know a lot of people have been asking for, a lot of people have been waiting for. I paired them earlier this year when we did get a good amount of bear pressure drops, and he locked her right away, but since then she's been pretty much ignoring him. But this is Alpha's litter. So this is Alpha, our IMG. He's 100% het, CAT positive. No, there's no anery in him. No, there's no motley in him. He's just a very high quality IMG, and we will be pairing him to our CA Sunglow, so the hypo visual T positive albino boa. So hopefully we can get some IMG CAT pause and hypo IMG CAT pause. We actually have another girlfriend for him as well, who is a motley CAT pause. However, she's just been a really weird grower, so maybe next year we'll have her go, because the IMG, he has that Colombian, that larger blood in him. He's pretty big for a CA boa, especially for a male CA boa, so he's significantly larger than our the little motley girl. So we want her to get at least another year, maybe 2, of growing into her, because it's just kind of how wonky her growth rate has been. And then let's get into the other snakes that are not regular just boas and ball pythons. These are some of the other winter breeders. For some of the winter breeders out there thinking that I'm going to be doing like dry marcon, like the indigos or stuff like that. Unfortunately, I just have my one Eastern indigo anymore, and she is a retired breeder, so Noir will be sitting solo for this season. But pythons. So first things first, we will be doing blackheads, or we will be attempting to do black-headed pythons this year. We tried last year, was the first year we got them in. Jin, our male, will be going in with Lindy Chamberlain, our female. And for the younger viewers, as well as maybe some of you uncultured swine who don't quite know who Lindy Chamberlain is, just Google that name and you'll understand why I chose to name this quite cranky little female black-headed python from Australia Lindy Chamberlain. So last year, they basically lived together for like 4 months. And never really a whole lot. I've seen a little bit more interest and receptivity from Lindy this time, but we'll see. It's a really good night the day I'm filming this. Weather's coming in, temperatures are dropping, so I'm hoping this will be the night to go with that. And then we'll be doing their cousins, the Woma pythons, that I've shown you in a couple more recent videos. They are a proven pair. Female had a rough time bouncing back, as I've talked about before, so we'll be popping the male in there. I'll be keeping a closer eye on them than I will some of the other boas and other pythons that I know have been doing very well together, as well as one more pairing that I will be also keeping a bit of a close eye on, and that is our Bredlii, or our Brettles, or Centralian, or Central Carpet, blah, 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 our Brettles python pair, and that is Spectre and Wraith. Hopefully they do really, really well. We are Spectre comes from LASIK line, so she has really nice genetics. She's a really good looking animal, and hopefully Wraith does a really good job. We'll be keeping an eye on them because Morelia sometimes don't exactly like each other. Not too often, but it's something you do need to keep an eye out for, just like Aspidites, like the one was in Blackheads. So those are going to be our pairings this year. And again, I know I've said that the old oversaturation thing, everyone's freaking out and worried about that. This is just the much smaller amount that I could be doing. It's just a whole lot for just me, myself to take care of. Like, I'm probably not gonna be pairing my Doomerals boas this year. Although I will note, it's not concrete yet, but we are potentially working on a breeding loan with one of my business partners. If you've ever seen me at the local reptile shows, and I have a larger, more diverse spread than you normally see with just my boas, pythons, and odd end colubrids, it's my business partner's produced animals as well. And we might be doing a breeding loan with one of his very large male Doomeral boas that is basically the size of our big girl Lily, because she has munched on poor boy James a couple times. So maybe we'll try to be doing that as well as, again, nothing concrete yet, we might be doing a breeding loan with Sir Mix-a-Lot, our male green anaconda. There are a couple different ones out there. He has a really big, not a really big, but he has a nice sized green female. So maybe we'll be doing something like that. He keeps floating around the idea of maybe doing hybrids. I know we've talked about hybrids and things like that, and everyone has their own opinions. So just between getting him up and over there, as well as we're not 100% sure if we really want to go that route as well, it's still kind of up in the air. But just so you know, those are our current breeding plans for the winter breeders. And then come spring, once some of the colubrids kind of start to come out of their slight brumation, I don't truly put them down. As of yet, I don't have the full capabilities to put them into a true brumation yet. As I said before, life has hit me in all sorts of directions right now, and my ability to put them down to a true brumation has been kind of thrown up in the air. So they aren't going in there. However, we have really good night drops, and they're in the coolest part of the building. And hopefully coming this spring, once we start pairing them up, we'll be doing 2 different things of rhino rat snakes. Maybe we'll be doing the Sonoran gophers again, but probably not. We'll be doing northern pine snakes. We'll be doing Louisiana pine snakes, Mexican back king snakes, a desert king snake. We'll try to put the Honduran milk snakes together. We'll see. As well as, depending on how big, another kind of secret little Asian rat snake video, which hopefully I will have a big reveal for you guys in soon. We'll also be pairing up depending on how big those females are. They're still a little small. Age is good, but they're just a little small right now. So we'll have to see. Oh, and of course the Japanese rat snakes as well with our Kunashir Island Japanese rat snakes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully it wasn't too rambly. Again, I'm just a little bit all over the place at the moment, so stay tuned. Stick with me on this one. It is really cool. Hopefully you can be excited for some fun little breeding projects. Sticking with me if you're ever in an area where I'm doing a reptile show. You might even have an opportunity to take one up. So, but again, thank you so much. Hope you're all having a great day, and we will check you next time.